Hello, my name is Daniel Martín González and I work at Universidad Complutense de Madrid at the Faculty of Economic and Business Science. And the presentation that I'm contributing to the NODOS conference is called Dynamic Systems Theory and Wooclap in an ESP course for economics. This presentation has been funded by Innova project at Universidad Complutense de Madrid, in which we're trying to work with Wooclap and to see the results that it has for the education, the university education today. Well, let me share my presentation with you all. Among the topics that I will be commenting on today are the introduction and rationale of the study, the objectives, the different participants, the methodology, and the conclusion, right? So, well, foreign language teaching is evolving towards the implementation of more and more technological applications in the classroom. Many students now love using platforms such as Kahoot or Padlet or Quizlet. That's leading to the creation of more applications which are useful for both teachers and students from different educational stages, right? In this sense, this presentation has two main general objectives, namely a general introduction to the use of a new interactive electronic platform called Wooclap and how to use it in the context of teaching, more specifically in the context of English for specific purposes for students of the Bachelor of Economy, right? Well, it is important to mention that this study is based on dynamic systems theory approach to language teaching, which can be traced back to the early 2000s. It is a modern way of seeing foreign language teaching because language knowledge and usage emerge from the interaction of different systems, such as students, resources, the context of learning, or the language itself. So in this case, different applications that we use in the classroom can be more interactive, like Wooclap, because it allows students to interact with the materials that they are learning. So coming back to my presentation, it is also important to remember that the course that I'm focusing on in this presentation is an English for specific purposes. So I'm only focusing on the language aspect, right? And as I was mentioning before, the objectives of this presentation is to introduce interactive teaching applications for an ESP course and to implement concepts of dynamic systems theory into the practice of ESP teaching, because dynamic systems theory is not a theory originally designed for the teaching of languages, but for social sciences and to understand the complexity of society, right? So when applying this theory into language teaching, we have a lot of issues because it is a bit difficult and it is way more theoretical than practical. So this was one of the main purposes. The participants of the study of this ongoing research are, as I was mentioning, first-year students of English for specific purposes for economics. I have 3 sections for this study, which add up a total of 50 students. So I have 50 students in the non-bilingual groups. I have 2 groups of those, and I have 10 students in the bilingual group. The level of English for the non-bilingual groups is B1, although I have students who have a higher level, even C1 in these courses, but they did not enroll in the bilingual group, which is interesting, but it's probably not the topic today. And then the bilingual group has different Erasmus students or students coming from Ukraine because of the situation nowadays. And their level of English is around B2, C1. This is an ongoing research in the post-pandemic teaching world for this specific, for this current academic year, 2022-2023. Okay, the methodology, it is really simple. So students have to pass 2 midterm exams if they follow the continuous assessment. The first midterm is for units 1 to 4, and the second midterm for units 5 to 8. And this adds up a total of 25% of the continuous assessment grade. These exams take place throughout the course. So the first one was in October, and the second one will take place at the end of November. So I don't have the final results, but I will have them for the paper that we will write. This exam format is the same for both midterm exams. They have listening activities, reading activities, writing, vocabulary, and grammar. And you can see there the percentages of the different parts of the exam. I'm mainly interested in vocabulary and grammar. Vocabulary, which is 40% of the grade of this exam, and grammar, which is 20%. Students are required to study the grammar and vocabulary found in the books that we have been covering throughout the course. It is important to mention that for the midterm one, students have been told just to do the activities in their classes without any use of any applications. So it is the more traditional way of teaching. Students just are told what activities to do, they do them, and then we correct them aloud together. But for the second midterm, we have changed the teaching methodology, and now students do these activities through Wooclap, not in their notebooks or in the traditional methods, but they do them in Wooclap. Wooclap, which is this interactive application that we can use for teaching, not just for languages, but any subject, and not just for university, but for primary, secondary, and tertiary education. It is similar to Kahoot, but it combines different activities. Okay, so as I was actually saying, this is an ongoing research, and I don't have the final results yet, but the expectation is that the grade will be higher for the second midterm for vocabulary and the grammar parts. Why? Because students have been interacting more with the materials. In a sense, because of dynamic systems theory, we understand that whenever students are engaged, which is what Wooclap allows, with their learning materials, their learning process will be enhanced. So in a sense, the expected result is that the grade for vocabulary and grammar in the second midterm will be higher because we have been using a more interactive application to do the activities from the course. I will be happy to answer any questions. Thank you for your attention, and well, bye.